video, I'm going to reveal the truth behind MIMES. Watch this. So the origin of MIMES dates back to the worship of Dionysus. The Greeks also built a theater in Athens to honor their false god Dionysus. And this is where the MIMES would perform as they gave honor to Dionysus. Dionysus is the god of grape harvest, winemaking, orchard, and fruit, vegetation, fertility, insanity, ritual madness, religious ecstasy, festivity, and theater in ancient Greek religion and myth. Also, according to mythology, Dionysus was born from the thigh of Zeus, and this male god was raised as a female, so his followers would honor him by practicing sexual immorality. And according to history, the MIMES would perform homosexual acts and many other detestable things as they honored Dionysus in the theater. Notice on this statue, Dionysus is depicted as a male god with female characteristics, which alludes to transgenderism. Take a look at this. The theater of Dionysus in Athens was one of the most important theaters in ancient Greece, initially built of timber in the 6th century BC. The theater was named in honor of the Greek deity of wine and theater, Dionysus. So the theater of Dionysus was built before Jesus was manifested in the flesh. This means the MIMES and the worship of Dionysus was taking place in the days of Jesus Christ's earthly ministry and the apostles as well. Listen to this. Dionysus was considered to be the source of fertility of the grapevines, and one of his symbols was the phallus. The phallus is a symbol of a male's reproductive organ. I told you this false god represented sexual immorality. Let's move further. Listen to this. He was also viewed as the source of life. So the ceremonies dedicated to him included a variety of sexual immoral practices. The cult attracted the common people because it promised eternal life to worshipers and catered to human lust aroused by the pagan cults. Drunkenness and sexual immorality was so extreme during celebrations in Dionysus' honor that his worship was banned for a time in Rome because it was too perverted. Listen to this. The word orgy comes from the Greek orgia, meaning secret rites, which referred to the secret rites of Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and lovemaking. Dionysus' followers were so extreme in their sexual immoral practices that the name orgia describes their sexual immoral ceremonies that they dedicated to Dionysus. Now I'm about to show you all that Apostle Paul encountered Dionysus' followers and Dionysus' theater. Let's go. Acts chapter 17 and verse 16. Now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. While Apostle Paul waited on Silas and Timothy to meet him in Athens, he noticed that the whole city was given over to idolatry. Now you may be saying, how do you know Paul was in the location of Dionysus Theater? Well, I'm about to show it to you. Acts chapter 17 and verse 19. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is. The Areopagus was the highest court in Athens. It was used for civil and criminal cases and to discuss religion and philosophy. Take a look at this model. Notice the Areopagus. This is where the men of Athens brought Paul. Now take a look at this. Dionysus Theater. This is where the mimes worshiped Dionysus. Notice, they are in the same location. Remember, Paul's spirit was stirred after he noticed the city was given over to idolatry. The mimes were there worshiping Dionysus. Brothers and sisters, the mimes worshiped Dionysus while wearing a mask. And the early church separated themselves from the mimes. Painting your face while you worship God is a pagan practice that originated in Dionysus Theater. It was never approved by the Most High God. That's why there's no scriptures to condone this type of worship. Watch this guy explain the false gods in Dionysus Theater. Watch this.
Or the performances, and could sometimes be used as part of the play. It may have looked like this one found on the frieze of the theater. This finely crafted frieze shows scenes from the life of the god Dionysus. Here we can see figures of Silenus, who was the tutor and companion of Dionysus, and was almost always drunk. He seems to hold scrolls, which could represent written plays. The scene here shows the birth of Dionysus. Zeus is seated while Hermes carries the baby Dionysus. Two figures strike swords against their shields, possibly to make noise to drown out the cries of the newborn. In this slab, Dionysus on the right gives the gift of the vine, introducing wine to the people. And this is followed by the marriage of Dionysus and Dionysus being crowned in Olympus as a god. He sits on a carved throne, similar to some of those found in the theater. Although the frieze was created in the 2nd century AD, the clothing style on this slab is reminiscent of those worn back in the 5th century.
Now take a look at this. Acts chapter 17 and verse 34. It says, howbeit certain men clave unto him and believed. This after Paul preached the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Among the which was Dionysius the Areopagite, and a woman named Damaris, and others with him. Dionysius was a judge, and after he heard the gospel, he believed. Think about it. Where did he adopt his name from? The Greek god, Dionysus. The evidence is right here in the Bible that the mimes existed and Dionysus Theater as well. John chapter 8 and verse 32. Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. God bless you. In this video, I'm going to reveal the truth behind MIMES.